Coming up on Cronkite NewsWatch.
The Capitol was busy today as lawmakers decide how to spend tax money in 2015. We'll tell you what is getting more funding and what gets cut.
Plus, SB 1062 is behind us, but Supreme Court hearing could give rise to more bills centering around church and state.
And you can find just about anything and anyone on the internet. We found one man who's taking video chats to a whole new level.
In-depth, insightful, innovative. Cronkite NewsWatch starts right now.
The Arizona Capitol was busy today as lawmakers debate state spending for the upcoming year. Good evening, I'm Crystal Story.
And I'm Brittany Bade. Thanks for joining us tonight. The Arizona Senate passed its version of a budget Thursday and sent it to the House Appropriations Committee.
It now lies in the Arizona House where representatives debate any changes before sending it to the governor's desk.
Cronkite News reporter Hannah Lawrence was at the Capitol and has details on the state spending.
Representatives are about to debate this year's $9.2 billion budget as we speak, and it's looking like it will pass, but not without opposition. Both parties in the House agree that funding for CPS is a priority in the budget debate, but Democrats want more for an agency that the governor has declared dysfunctional.
When I look at this budget, I'm not sure where this is going. I don't know what the governor thinks of this budget. It doesn't match up with her proposal in any way, shape, or form, across the board, not just CPS.
We met the governor more than halfway on Child Protective Services. We realize that it's a high priority.
And while Republicans say they're willing to compromise, the House Minority Leader says the governor should not.
So I'm hopeful that she's looking at this budget and is getting her veto stamp ready.
The House is largely following the Senate's proposals, which encompass education, healthcare, and the courts. And that's a hopeful sign so that it will not have to be kicked back to the Senate. Representative Quasman told me that the debate will likely continue until at least midnight tonight. The goal, an agreement ready for the governor's signature. I'm Hannah Lawrence, Cronkite News.
House Democrats were missing a key leader during much of the budget debate, but today they gained a new ally. Ruben Gallego's vacant seat was officially filled by the new representative for District 27, Norma Munoz, and she didn't waste any time in addressing her first priority.
I want to get over there and see where I can make a difference, maybe step over to other people and see how we can work together to make things happen in this state.
Munoz has been a board member of the Roosevelt School District for 20 years. She has 8 months left in her new job before she runs for re-election to the House this November.
The debate over SB 1062 may be over, but the Supreme Court takes up a case tomorrow that could renew that argument. Cronkite News reporter Jillian Idle joins us live from our Washington bureau with more. Jillian?
Now, the case involves an Oklahoma company whose Christian owners argue that the Affordable Care Act's requirement for contraception is in violation of their religious beliefs. However, advocates are already saying that this Hobby Lobby case could spark more Arizona-style bills aimed at the separation between church and state. Advocates like the Ovarian Cancer National Alliance support the Affordable Care Act's requirement that employers provide coverage for contraception as part of an employee's health plan.
But for us, it really came down to an issue of women's health, and we want to be sure that women have access to all the ways that they can reduce their risk of ovarian cancer, which includes oral contraceptives.
I also spoke today to the Family Research Council, who hopes the Supreme Court will side with Hobby Lobby, saying it's in violation of their religious freedom to live and work as they please. Now, both sides are expected to be out in full force tomorrow in front of the Supreme Court as beginning arguments are being heard. Live in the nation's capital, Jillian Idle, Cronkite News.
We now know that the landslide that occurred Saturday in Washington state claimed the lives of 8 people. The latest count from authorities has 108 people unaccounted for or missing, but they fear that number could rise. Searchers say hope of finding more survivors is dwindling. Around 30 homes were destroyed in the mile-wide disaster. There was little warning of the landslide, and a flash flood warning is still in effect.
Arizona is known for its dry, hot climate, but it has occasionally been hit hard by floods. And so are residents when it comes to flood insurance. Cronkite News reporter Kimberly Horiza joins us live from the Media Center.
The federal government subsidized flood insurance for decades, contributing to a $24 billion debt. Along came a huge spike in insurance rates, but now there's a bit of relief.
Many people don't think flooding even occurs in a state famous for its deserts, but flood insurance is a big issue for those who own property in Arizona's designated flood zones.
What we're doing is we're identifying those areas that when it does rain, and if we do get a significant event, that these are the areas that will flood. They will see water, and it has happened in the past, and it will happen again in the future.
The federal government subsidized flood insurance for properties built before these flood zones were established in the late 1970s.
Those were issued at a discounted rate because people didn't have the benefit of the firm maps at the time.
These subsidies were eliminated with the Bigger Waters Flood Insurance Act in 2012.
Arizona home and business owners were bracing for a huge annual increase with this reform, but on Friday, President Obama signed a relief bill that will not only cap this price hike, but it will also delay it.
The new act signed on Friday rolls back some of the increases and delays some of those for a couple of years.
It requires the Federal Emergency Management Agency to analyze the affordability of proposed rate increases. FEMA says it will also work towards ensuring the financial stability of the National Flood Insurance Program and reduce the risk of flooding nationwide.
Flood zone residents can still expect a hefty hike in their insurance premiums. This new act, though, limits increases to no more than 18% per year. Live in the Media Center, Kimberly Hariza, Cronkite News.
For the City of Mesa, spring training is important to the bottom line. Not only does it bring in fans, but people who spend money. And a new stadium means more fans and more money being left behind. As Cronkite News reporter Jeff Platt shows us, the Cub moves to a bigger stadium is paying off.
That's right, Crystal. Cubs fans bleed blue and red, but their wallets are full of green, and so are the registers of Mesa businesses who cater to them.
I'm sorry, but we're completely sold out for today's game.
There isn't an empty seat in the house here at the new Cubs Park in Mesa, and tickets aren't the only thing fans are buying.
Go beer right here, go beer!
Beers, brats, baseball, and business, which has soared from a year ago at the Cactus Moon Sports Grill.
You know, when you're talking, percentages wise, again, 10 to 15%, which is a lot for us. I mean, it's thousands of dollars worth of business.
Grill GM Daniel Eastwood said he caters to the Chicago crowd.
We bring in specialty beers for them, old style, Goose Island, things such as that.
And while businesses all around Mesa and the park itself are already seeing economic boosts, the Cubs say this is only the beginning.
Starwood just announced that they're building a Sheraton hotel just east of this ballpark. That's going to be a huge anchor.
And Eastwood says part of getting that business is putting in the work today.
I like to create people that are going to come back. I mean, because again, that's our future. And that stadium is a big part of our future.
And for Mesa, which has tied its future to the Windy City, the outlook looks bright and breezy. Now, the new Cubs Park should definitely break the Cactus League single spring record for attendance, which is great because with the new hotel on the way, the City of Mesa is hoping fans will come for the games and stay for the city. Live in downtown Phoenix, Jeff Platt, Cronkite News.
The Clinton family, Senator John McCain, and late-night host Jimmy Kimmel are some of the many prominent figures who visited the ASU Tempe campus this weekend as ASU hosted the 7th annual Clinton Global Initiative University Summit. Cronkite News reporter Katie Mickleseth was there.
I think one of the great things about kind of being in 2014.
The former first daughter rallied more than 1,000 students from all over the world here at Arizona State University to share ideas to better society.
There are more options and more outlets for people to contribute and to make a difference than have ever existed before.
Students' projects created for the Clinton Global Initiative included teaching leadership skills in low-income school districts and using restaurant compost to grow community gardens to feed the homeless.
I wanted them to have some type of sustainable job or some sustainable program.
ASU senior Jose Asono wants to help young Africans become entrepreneurs.
Connect individuals, kids who are startup in universities who trying to create entrepreneurship and connect them with resources.
Students with big ideas heard from panelists with even bigger plans. The Clintons, founder of Wikipedia Jimmy Wales, and late-night host Jimmy Kimmel encouraged the importance and power of the millennial generation.
Think about how to translate their ideas into real action plans, whether it's to make a difference on their college campuses like ASU or in their communities or somewhere around the world.
In that spirit, the former president left students with a mission for the future.
How do you propose to do it so you can turn your good intentions into real changes?
And these students were ready to step up.
I think that our generation is kind of
consists of a bunch of change makers. Like, all of us want to go out into the world and do something different.
In Tempe, Katie Mickelset, Cronkite News.
Coming up on NewsWatch.
The ongoing investigation of Malaysia Flight 370 has left many with questions and heartbreak for weeks. Officials announced a recent turning point that may provide answers.
And Valley firefighters are being taught a new way to serve and protect by learning how to respond if there ever was a plane crash emergency.
Imagine being stranded.
Feeding 16,000 points for them.
From TV banks to computers.
Cronkite NewsWatch starts right now.
Kiss me. That's my kind of man. You've been creating quite a stir.
The winter you've been waiting for is on PBS.
You must choose either death or life.
All the drama.
There's going to be changes at Downton.
It's getting harder to say no.
The adventure.
The waves are breaking all around us.
And the spectacle of nature.
We're going to show how special these animals are.
Come in from the cold. Support the one place that can take you any place.
It's been 16 days since Malaysian Airlines flight MH370 lost contact with air traffic controllers after taking off from Kuala Lumpur. Satellites have spotted massive pieces of debris floating in the waters around the area for days, leaving many people scratching their heads. Today, officials announced an unfortunate turning point in the investigation.
According to this new data, flight MH370 ended in the southern Indian Ocean.
A text message was sent from the airline to the families of the 239 people on board, saying no one on board survived. The search for the black box is still ongoing.
Ironically, here in the Valley, it just so happens that there was a training exercise scheduled for today that targets how to respond if there is a plane crash. Cronkite News reporter Tweelon Nugent has just returned from the exercise and joins us live.
Aircraft rescue firefighters suited up today to brush up on their skills when it comes to fighting fires on the tarmac. And for today's practice, they flew in a prop worthy of Hollywood.
Fires can quickly get out of control in an aircraft loaded with fuel. That's why Phoenix Aircraft Rescue firefighters are practicing like it's the real thing.
At the end of the day, it's all about getting home and, being safe.
A prop plane equivalent to a 757 was used for the exercise at Phoenix Fire Training Academy. The government requires firefighters to use a realistic prop every year.
And these are very rare occurrences, so you need to do training exercises to remain proficient in this craft.
Firefighters practice a number of exercises, from putting out an engine fire to powering down the cockpit. The prop plane was chartered from Michigan to come to Phoenix for 1 week. Chances are you helped pay for it.
A portion of your airline ticket pays for public safety, so it pays for police and fire to be able to provide services.
That small portion of your airline fare helps firefighters keep up to date with Federal Aviation Administration procedures.
There are 2 fire stations at Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport and 130 specially trained and certified firefighters who work there.
Firefighter Mike Gaffney is thankful for the experience.
This is what we do, so we practice like we play. And to have realistic training like this that they're providing is the best way that we can prepare ourselves for that time that we actually do have a crash.
But firefighters here hope that day will never come.
Rescue firefighter crews will continue to train here for the next week. And so far, that training has paid off. The FAA has found that Phoenix has not violated a single regulation for 7 years. Live in downtown Phoenix, Tweelon Nugent, Cronkite News.
Coming up on NewsWatch.
The internet has everything from medical advice to live streaming religious services. So one businessman has modernized his practice, extracting the devil through Skype.
And could we be seeing this winter's big and final hurrah? I've got your forecast coming up next.
NewsWatch is one of the really big things I will always remember for the rest of my life.
You're lugging around all of your equipment, you are doing all of the work, and that's what makes it so fulfilling to me.
Being an anchor, I think it's a privilege. I enjoy every moment of it.
Seeing your show on air, it is one of the most surreal feelings ever.
What if we could unlock every mystery?
We're at the beginning of a revolution.
That's a huge discovery.
That's never been done before, ever, anywhere.
Touchdown confirmed.
No one feeds on curiosity like PBS. Give to your PBS station so future generations can keep asking, what if?
Some call it bizarre, some call it fiction, but whatever you want to call it, there's a guy here in town making a lot of money off of it.
We're talking exorcisms, but the exorcism this business has gone high-tech. Cronkite News reporter Cooper Rummel joins us live outside the St. Mary's Basilica. Cooper, please explain.
Well, it seems like everything's going high-tech these days. I'm joining you from a computer right now outside St. Mary's Basilica in downtown Phoenix. Now, the Catholic Church doesn't like to talk about it a lot, but they have priests trained in the age-old tradition of exorcisms. But we found one controversial Valley Reverend who's taking a 21st century approach to casting out demons.
It's the power of Christ.
We have a lot of ideas about exorcism.
The power of Christ.
All thanks to Hollywood. But for Reverend Bob Larson, casting out demons isn't just God's work, it's also a business.
No.
Larson says he's done more than 20,000 exorcisms. Now the Scottsdale pastor has taken his practice online through Skype.
I'm going to reach out, cross the miles, and anoint you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Some people call him the Skypercist, but exorcist Rob Kohler calls Larson something else.
It's just ridiculous. What that is greed.
Priests at the Catholic Diocese tell me they question how Larson can discern if someone is possessed over the internet. Turns out Larson has a test you can take online. I decided to take the 21-question test myself at a cost of $10. One question asked if I've ever broken the law. Another if I've ever had a failed relationship. So I just finished taking the test and found out I'm at a low risk for demonic possession. Scored a 21.
There was a great need for exorcism, and I believe that I was the one called by God to bring this message to the general public through the media.
Others question why Larson charges nearly $300 for a Skypercism.
He's a multimillionaire. He doesn't need it. Why would you charge somebody to help God do his work? It makes no sense.
$295 is what we asked to cover our expenses. But keep in mind, people don't think about all the expenses involved.
Larson says it's a small cost to take away your demons, but others insist it's just the latest way to take away your dollars.
You have mocked the servant of God.
Larson also offers an online course called the International School of Exorcism. For the right price, you could learn how to cast out demons. And on his website, you can buy your very own Cross of Deliverance. That sells for about $100. Live in downtown Phoenix, Cooper Rummel, Cronkite News.
We want to make a brief correction to our top story on the ongoing budget debate in the Arizona House of Representatives. We mistakenly identified Representative John Kavanaugh as Adam Quasman. We regret the error. Right now, the full House of Representatives is in recess, but they're still expected to discuss and vote on a $9 billion spending plan for the state. We'll have full coverage tomorrow on Cronkite News.
and a storm that has caused alerts throughout the morning, throughout the day, coming in. Down here, you're going to see around Florida, this low pressure system is going to travel up the coast, and it's going to hit Boston and New York again. It's like a broken record all over again. Low pressure is going to coil up into a ball. They're looking to see winds up to 35 miles an hour, some off the coast up to 50 miles an hour, and just more snow pounding the Northeast. As you can see, 33 in New York, 77 down in Miami, while we're sitting pretty at 87. And looking at us, well, it's all clear skies. It was a little cool this morning. We had some slight cloud coverage, but as you can see, as soon as it came in, it just cleared the way for us to have a nice sunny day. Still working those shorts and t-shirts. 84 in Scottsdale, 86 over by the Air Force Base, and 82 in Chandler. Some other temperatures around the state. Looking up at the Grand Canyon, things are still fairly cool up there. 63, 59 in Flagstaff, 88 and 82 down around the border. And we're going to stick to the 80s right now. 87 in Phoenix. Sunset tonight at 6:42. Very dry outside, so there's still that fire warning. And looking ahead at your 5-day, we're going to be 80s all week long, except for Thursday, and that's kind of our little outlier here. Cool winds on Wednesday night are going to cause nice temperatures on Thursday, so something to look forward to later in the week. I'm Adam Waltz. There's your forecast. Cronkite weather.
Coming up on NewsWatch.
The first weekend of the NCAA tournament is done. We have the updated bracket for you. And one Valley teen is excelling both on the field and on the court. We'll tell you her story. ASU, it was out in the first round of the tournament, but I promise I'll stick around for the entire sportscast. And it's next.
A tradition of excellence, integrity, and innovation.
The second I came in, I fell in love with the program.
The Cronkite School propels students into the new era of journalism.
Students are learning.
Digital, entrepreneurial, and collaborative labs encourage students to shape the future of the industry, and the industry is watching.
We have come here to meet with students at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism.
The Cronkite School, the journalism school for the digital age.
I had everything set up. The Range Rover picked out, the house on the golf course circled, vacations on every continent booked. Warren Buffett's money was all but mine. Well, until 3 hours into the second round of the NCAA tournament, when my billion-dollar dreams were crushed by the Dayton Flyers. Millions played in Buffett's billion-dollar bracket challenge, in which anyone with a perfect bracket wins $1 billion. And after the first weekend of play, there's not one perfect bracket left. The latest reasons: 8-seeded Kentucky Wildcats upsets former undefeated Wichita State 78-76. Kentucky playing like that preseason #1 ranking. And in the South, the Kansas Jayhawks, fully equipped with possibly the first 2 picks in this year's NBA draft, gets knocked off by Stanford 60-57, ruining brackets all over the nation. And ASU has been bounced from the dance, but U of A is still getting jiggy with it, and the A-Town stomped Gonzaga and San Diego. Early on, TJ McConnell with the steal. Aaron Gordon, he follows with the tip. The Wildcats would be up early. Gordon not done, though. Nick Johnson with the long pass. Gordon throws it down. The freshman scored a game-high 18 points. The U of A band getting down, dancing, having a good time. There is no shame in that, kid. U of A takes on San Diego State next. Now on to the updated bracket. It's Sweet 16 time. Some of what we expected and some not so much. Check out the bottom of the South bracket. Dayton and Stanford meeting on Thursday in one of the most unlikeliest of matchups this weekend. And the matchup everyone is looking forward to, the Bluegrass State battle. Rick Pitino against John Calipari. Louisville against Kentucky Friday night. Should be an amazing game, an amazing weekend of action. And now to the women's side, the Lady Sun Devils are still alive and currently taking on the top-seeded Notre Dame. Right now, the Sun Devils are down 12. They kept it close early, but now Notre Dame starting to pull away. Now, Bo Jackson, Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, and a teenager in the Valley all have something in common. Cronkite sports reporter Jeff Platt introduces us to another two-sport athlete, and let's just say she surprises her opponents.
To the naked eye, this may seem like your ordinary football player, but ordinary does not describe Tori Wright.
I could throw a football, so I was like, why not just try out for the team? Tried out for the team. I played quarterback, played safety, and I was loving it there.
Now that quarterback has made her way to the hardwood. From the first day Tori stepped foot into Titan Hall, it was clear to her coach and teammates that she had spent some time on the gridiron.
Well, geez, I mean, she already has guns, she already has big muscles, so, I mean, like I said, it wasn't surprising at all.
She did for us a lot of things that a quarterback would do, so absolutely we saw that. And I didn't necessarily know that it tied into her past as much as it did, but it did.
Coach Matches was not surprised, but throughout her life, Tori's opponents have definitely been caught off guard.
They didn't know that I was a girl on the football field. They thought I was a guy since I played quarterback, and then they were like, oh, that's a girl? I was like, yeah.
Now as a high school senior, she may have switched sports, but Tori can still hang with the guys. While Tori graduates from Arcadia High School in May, her career does not end there.
It's something I love, so I'm probably never going to stop playing.
Because Tori still has a few tricks left up her sleeve. In Phoenix, Jeff Platt, Cronkite Sports.
And now the Suns are sitting just a half game out of the playoffs, may have found the solution to all their problems. Throw away the razor blades. The Suns implemented a no-shave policy 3 games ago, leading up to the playoffs, and so far, so good. And of course, it helps to have Eric Bledsoe back. Phoenix and Minnesota taking on the Timberwolves. The first half, it was all T-Wolves, dominating from the start. 8 minutes into the game in the second quarter, Dante Cunningham slams it home. Minnesota takes a 51-29 lead, but the Suns would come back from a 22-point deficit late fourth quarter. Eric Bledsoe with the layup, 2 of his 28 points. The Suns roll to a 126-120 victory.
That's it for Cronkite News Watch tonight. We're always on the web. Just head to CronkiteNewsOnline.com.
Thanks for joining us. Good night.